In the continuation to bottom-up approach of assembly in CATIA V5, we will look at some of the advanced features which will actually help us in creating assembly in very less time, as well as in making modifications again in very less time. These are some advanced features. Before that, let's have a look at sub-assembly, how exactly we can insert and use sub-assembly. So to insert or to use sub-assembly, we have the same method available. I will go for existing component, and from this existing component I will tell where I want to insert it, and then I just need to select the sub-assembly. I had already created the sub-assembly, so I will directly select it and say open. The complete sub-assembly will be available at 0, 0, 0. I'll just manipulate it. Now here this sub-assembly, doesn't matter how many parts are there in the sub-assembly, this complete sub-assembly will work as a single entity. So whenever I will apply any manipulation, any other operation, it will be applied on the sub-assembly, not on any of the part of sub-assembly. So with bottom plate I will just align sub-assembly, but as I want that this particular rod should be inserted in these holes, and purposefully I have created these holes using pattern when I had created the bottom plate. You can see over here I will just expand the bottom plate feature tree. So one hole, this was the parent hole I had created, and then I had applied rectangular pattern. So what I will do over here is I will align, I will match this sub-assembly with the parent hole, which will help me in updating the part or assembly very easily. So I'll just apply constraint, axis to axis coincidence I had given, then I will go for another constraint of coincidence, this face with this face. Now I will check the degree of freedom for the sub-assembly, not of any of the part. Yes, so for the sub-assembly only a rotation about z-axis is remaining. I will go for angle constraint. I will select this plane and say this face should be parallel, and okay, that's it. This will make my sub-assembly as fully constrained, or all degree of freedom of the sub-assembly will be restricted after this. Now when I have this kind of cases available, then I will prefer to use the advanced feature. Otherwise, if I'm not using the pattern, then I'll need to insert one sub-assembly here, another sub-assembly here, another sub-assembly here, and I'll need to give constraint to each and every sub-assembly. But when we had used pattern in the part design, it will give me an advantage of using the same pattern in the assembly. For that, what I will do, I will select the sub-assembly which I want to pattern. I will go for reuse pattern from the constraint toolbar. It will ask me two things: how you want the pattern to be generated, by patterns definition or by generated constraint. Let's first go for patterns definition. Just select the pattern definition and press OK. What it will do, it will give you the result, but if I will check the degree of freedom, then each and every sub-assembly will have 6 degree of freedom. So there is no point in using this option because I am not getting my objects constrained. What I will do, I will again go for subassembly, go for reuse pattern. This time I will focus on generated constraints. What I want is, I want the constraints also to be followed, to be patterned. Select this and go for selecting the pattern and press OK. This will give you this case, that each and every sub-assembly which is actually being patterned is also restricted. All the degree of freedom of each and every sub-assembly is covered. So this is what advantage we have. We can use sub-assembly so that it will be easy for us to create these types of pattern. Otherwise, I'll first place this part, create it, then this part, then this part, then this part, 4 parts, then these 4s, 8 part. I'll need to insert, I'll need to constrain them. Instead of that, what I had done, for 2 parts I have created one sub-assembly and then used pattern. So within very less time, with less effort, I will be able to get the final result over here. This is what advantage of pattern as well as sub-assembly is. Suppose I don't have the sub-assembly available, like I have not created the sub-assembly. In that case, what we can do is, let's delete this. Yeah, we can create the sub-assembly here as well. For that, what I'll need to do, I'll need to go for this product option. I want a product. Where? Here. So a product will be added. Now whatever part I want to insert or I want to keep in the sub-assembly, I will insert those parts here. So existing component, not in this, I want in this. Select this, say guide pillar, open. You can see guide pillar is added here. Then I'll need to activate this. Right now this is activated, press tool is activated. I'll activate product 1. In product 1, what I am doing is I will make this one as fully constrained. Then another part I will insert here in the bush. The bush. This is how I have done. Then I'll select this and I will go for pattern of, activate this. Then this product 1 will act as a single entity for me, and then I can go for pattern of this. So instead of separately creating sub-assembly and inserting, I can create the sub-assembly in the environment as well if I want. This was all about your bottom-up approach. There are some more features, some more things are there in the approach that we will discuss in the advanced course we have.